What up, everybody? Welcome back. I'm your host, JP. This is my co-host, Josh.
Hey, everyone.
Welcome back to another episode of the Film Bros podcast. What's going on, everybody? We're back to bring you guys another review, another good review, and we're in a good mood. Not just because we're reviewing Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods.
All right, here's the situation. The daughters of Atlas are coming to hunt us.
Children stole the power of the gods. You ripped it from our father's core.
Okay, I feel like maybe I should be writing all this down.
Give us the powers, child.
Your world will not survive this.
You want these powers? Come get them.
We're going to go ahead and just, we're going to talk about the movie that, we're going to go ahead and talk about this movie that, the head star just could not cope with missing out. I don't know. They missed out on a lot of money with this sequel. So Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods, directed by David F. Sandberg. We had Peter Safran producing it. Had about 110 to 125 million, 120 million budget. Currently past 100 million at the time of recording this. It's been, you know what, before we get into the review, I just want to recap why this movie's doing so bad, and
Rub it in real quick.
I just want to recap for the people that, you know, because my initial thoughts, let me just, off the bat, my initial thoughts, this movie's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's actually pretty good. What hindered it was everything that's happening with DC as of right now. If you guys don't really know, quick recap. DC's going through a whole head change. We got James Gunn at the top. Zachary Levi's trying to scrape for his job. Everybody's trying to scrape for their job right now, trying to see what direction James Gunn is going to go in. This movie is a product that was brought out and could have been potentially decent, but it winds up being a forgettable movie at the end of it all.
But wait, before I tell you my thoughts, let's hear a quick word from ZippyStream, our sponsor for this podcast.
Today's episode is sponsored by ZippyStream. If you are wondering how we make money to run our podcast, it's all because of this innovative platform. Here at FilmBros Podcast, we absolutely love using ZippyStream. It's the easiest way to convert listeners into an email list, but best of all, they find us sponsorship so we can keep making money doing what we love.
Suppose you're also a podcaster thinking about starting one. ZippyStream will help you find and manage your relationship with brands that are relevant to your audience. If you want to learn more, contact us as soon as possible. Everyone that signs up this month will get to claim £10 as a joining bonus, which is around $12 or something like that.
Just reach out to us by email or social media DMs, and I'll put you in touch with the guys at ZippyStream right away. Now back to the pod.
Honestly, yeah. And it's, I mean, yeah, because, well, I guess if that's our initial thoughts, then, like, yeah, no, it's a fine movie. Like, it does all right, you know, but yeah, pretty much you go in there, you see the movie, and then you're like done. It doesn't feel as memorable as the first one, you know what I mean? It had cool moments, but not cool enough for me to be like, oh yeah, this is my favorite thing, you know? It's very weird.
Yeah, Shazam could have been, honestly, it could have been this movie could have been better. I don't think it passes the first one, even though they did go bigger when it comes to, like, I guess, fighting and, you know, threat level when it comes down within the movie.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't really think that they up it in terms of, like, character development or acting or anything like that, in my opinion. If anything, I kind of feel like they went the opposite direction with that shit. They're like, oh, people don't like that from the first movie? Double down.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. It depends on how you look at it. I know we'll break it down a bit, more into the episode, but, like, I think I see what you mean. A lot of the characters feel very, like static. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't move. They don't develop.
Not really. Not kind of like how they did in the first one. So let's go ahead and we'll talk about the characters. So the Shazam 2 is starring Zachary Levi as Shazam. We got Helen Mirren coming into the franchise, which is crazy they were able to cop her. Lucy Liu coming into the franchise. Asher Angel coming back. Rachel Zegler coming into the franchise. It's an inside joke. Josh didn't know who Rachel Zegler
I didn't know
were.
who she was, and I thought you were making her up. I was like, that just sounds made up.
Jack Dylan Grazer comes back. Digimon Hanso is back as the Wizard. We got Grace Caroline Murray coming back as Mary. So on so forth. We got a lot of returning cast back. I gotta say, character-wise, I think I like the characters. I think the character that shined the most was Jack Dylan Grazer's character, Freddie Freeman. I think he really did great for the role that he was playing, you know, trying to be that person who feels broken in his human body but just, you know, wants to be that superhero because he's to prove that he isn't broken. And I feel like he played that character really well. I think he outshined a good chunk of these characters. I think he was neck and neck with, in my opinion, Helen Mirren as Hespera, because I think her acting as the evil bad, even though I'm not gonna lie, she really didn't care for this movie. In her interview, she really did not give a shit. But I thought she gave a good performance, and I think Jack Dylan Grazer too, playing as Freddy, I think he did a good job. Everybody else, Zachary Levi, I honestly think he upped. His character is completely different from Asher Angel's Billy Batson. I kind of feel like they really, I feel like they're not the same, and I feel like even though Asher Angel, Billy's character, tried to just keep up with what Zachary Levi was doing, it seemed like Zachary Levi was leading and he was trying to pick up after him. I mean, I guess in a way it doesn't show as badly because, to be honest, I feel like they were in their superhero forms most of the movie. So when you got that emotional moment, they used Asher, but then they completely ruined it by throwing Zachary Levi back into it. Other than that, everybody else did their thing. I think Grace Caroline Curry did good. Digimon Hansu as the Wizard did really good. I really don't have any complaints about anybody else. I think everybody shined when they needed to, and it was great.
Yeah, I mean, like similar notes. I mean, everyone to me kind of felt like they did their best with what they could, despite the movie kind of hitting a brick wall. You know what I mean? Like, I think the ones to outshine for me the most, the bad guys. I don't know their names, but the three sisters. I think all three of them.
Lucy Liu, Rachel Zegler, and Helen Mirren.
Yeah, I think all three of them kind of like really shined more, which is weird because you don't expect. I mean, you expect the villain to shine, but it's weird how like the formula has changed where you want a good villain, and you know sometimes they just outshine the hero a little bit. You know, it's interesting how that's come about in like media nowadays. Because even in the first one, I really like Doctor what's his name?
Kevorkian. No, I don't remember
his name, but it's very cool that I think they outshine them a little bit more. Freddy, here's the thing, right? So I liked him in the first one. I don't know if I liked him as much in this one. His performance was good, but I don't know if I like Freddy. I think what they did with his character kind of annoyed me. He got kind of annoying to me at some points.
When it because how he was easily manipulated within the movie, or
yeah, and like kind of giving him the fucking the limelight, you know, over Billy. It felt kind of weird.
But that's the thing. It did feel weird, but it was obviously playing to that point where Athena was able to figure out how, you know, she was trying to play the field to try to get information, right? And I feel like they did that perfectly to set him up. Like, it wasn't a stupid reason. It was actually like how she put it in the movie. Like, she could have easily dealt with her own beliefs, but the fact that he jumped in there to even in his weaker form, like I felt like that showed that heart that they were building up to. Like, yeah, he's broken, but even with or without superpowers, and then when he completely lost his superpowers, his character switched up and was like, well, I can't really do much. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, and it was until he got that courage later on, which at the end of it all, it seems like the payoff wasn't even as heavy as you wished it to be. Like I said, I don't know if this is because of the everything else that was weighing the movie down, but I wish the payoff would have hit harder, and I feel like it would have made up for a better defense in his acting corner.
Maybe just a little bit. It's just hard to. It was hard to watch him half the time. I think, maybe I just don't vibe with his character. You know what I mean, or his type of character.
Well, I feel like he came a long way from being that annoying kid in the first one.
I don't know.
Because
I still think he had his moments.
I think you compared him to the kid that was in Black Adam as well.
Yeah, because I mean they were basically like
they're like
two sides of the same
one and
coin.
the same, and I kind of feel like they improved on him in this one. I don't feel like he was as annoying or really annoying. I kind of felt like they gave him a purpose. Besides being that character that gets beat up by a bunch of bullies. I don't know if you remember the first one, but he got beat up so much. It was so bad. Yeah. I was like, damn, who's directing this movie? He's just getting his ass brutally beat.
He got beat up by teenagers for some reason. But, yeah.
Hit him with a car. The car.
I remember all that. And, like, I understand it was for a plot type of view to make him, like, kind of stand out a bit. But, I don't know. For me, it doesn't make much sense for the side character to be getting more development and stuff over the main character or the villains, you know, because those are the two that you expect to, you know, be at that level. And then you kind of had Freddy over here kind of outshining, like you said, like Shazam.
But here's the thing, though. Asher Angel, when he had to give that emotional scene and when he had to be the character front and center, he did really good. And I think they did give him development. I think what happened and what fucked it up was Zachary Levi turning into Zachary Levi and him just throwing out all that character development. I honestly think the whole contrast between Asher and Zachary Levi, like the way they were playing the characters, I think that's what really throws it off.
Yeah, I think now that I think now that you put it, and like, no shade to Zachary Levi, even though we kind of the last few episodes have kind of been about him, but like, it's just how he comes off in these movies, like you've said it before. They're like, it feels like they're two different characters. If you notice there's quite a bit of iterations of Shazam now. He's kind of popular in like cartoons and stuff. Billy Batson, when he's 12, he has the mindset of a 12-year-old even in superhero form, you know? So like he still acts like a kid. Like there's a scene in one of the animated movies that I told you about where he's like he sneaks into the football game and he steals Cyborg's jersey. Remember?
Yeah.
You've seen it. It's
I think it was in the
first one.
The animation.
Yeah, that's right. The first animated movie. He's like, he takes it. He's like, oh wait, you're Victory Stone. He's like, victory, you know what I mean? And like, yeah, he has the mindset of a teenager still. Mm-hmm. They go about it in Young Justice 2 and they talk about it there, and like, you don't get that from Zachary Levi and Asher and what's his name? Asher, yes.
Asher Angel.
Yeah. And what do you call it? You get seriousness from Asher, which is really good because he did you were right. When he has to deliver the serious lines, he delivers it. And the only few times they really address the serious times is only a few times. You know what I mean? Like when he's talking to now we're slipping into spoilers, but when he's talking to Mary in the little sanctuary or whatever the fuck it's called, and he's like, well, I turn 18 in a few months and this and that, you know, and like I'm ready, like they're gonna kick me out, whatnot. That's probably the only time out of a few times where he gets serious, and then after that it's back to like goofiness, and you're like, well, if he understands that, how is he gonna act like a child and all that in front of like the bad guys, you know?
And that's what I'm saying. Like this movie's supposed to take place a couple years after the events of the first one. They've been doing it for a little bit. Asher's obviously growing up. They're saying he's damn near almost 18 already. Yeah. He's gonna be phasing out, so he's gonna be a little bit more mature. Don't get me wrong. I get acting like a kid, but how is he gonna be 18, acting like he's still 12? You know what I mean? Like he's growing up already. You know what I mean? So it just came at a like a. I find it to be a very weird angle that Zachary Levi was playing the character, like too kiddie, too chummy.
Yeah, which is weird because the rest of them also kind of felt childish. You know what I mean? Not Mary. She felt her age and stuff. Freddie the same way, but like the rest of the family that was around but didn't really get development outside of being their quirky selves. Like they all felt static too, so they were all just kind of coasting on, while you had like everyone else kind of like,
which is crazy because they showed more of them in their Shazam bodies and kids.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, like for a fact, I was looking at the movie, I was like, we're not even seeing the kids, and most of the time when the heart of the movie was happening is when they were all kids. You know what I mean? It's just. I will say Zachary Levi, the one time when I kind of felt like he took it seriously and everybody was kind of taking it seriously was when they were all in the room and then he was like, I'm gay, and then he was just like, we know, and everybody's like, yeah, we know, or whatever. That was the only time I was like, okay, they really told him to act sensitive to it in this scene, and so that was the first time that I actually was like, okay, Zachary Levi actually put some kind of chop into it, but it was only for like half a second, and then they disappeared with it.
Yeah, it's very weird. Probably the only few times, like I said, there's only a few times you can count on your hand, like 3 or 4 times where like you're just like, yeah, he's acting serious, and then everyone else is just like acting goofy.
Yeah, I mean, but other than that, all the like I said, all the other characters were pretty good. Digimon playing as a wizard, Grace Caroline Curry. Even for the little bit that she had, she was playing as Mary Shazam, or what's her name, Miss Mary. Mary. I just call her Mary.
Mary Marvel.
Mary Marvel. Okay, so she did what she had to do, but like I said, her character kind of felt stunned as well because, I felt in the first one that she was really like struggling with the whole, going to school and stuff like that. Like that was her passion. And this one, it kind of felt like it took a back seat, and it was just like, oh well, I can't go to school. I mean, it would have been cool to see her like struggling with regular stuff on a daily, and then also, coming back and trying to be a superhero and show that she's trying to do that, because at least then it shows that there's other people trying to do their own things, you know what I mean, and not just trying to be superheroes. Some of them were just cool with being superheroes and exploring the superhero side, and Freddie wanted to be popular outside the superhero stuff and also do a solo. Mary wanted to go to school, but like I said, it kind of took a backdrop her personal life. And I mean, the most that we got was that little funny scene where she was wearing glasses and she was coming back from a party, and I think that was kind of like the only time where they kind of like put her regular life to conflict with her hero life, and I was just like, that's not enough.
Yeah, no, because she did have a lot going on in the first one, and then in this one she says she can't go to school because of the superhero stuff or whatever, and then you don't
really hear anything about it.
She leaves half the time for work or whatever because she has that heart-to-heart with Billy where she's like, I'm not kicked out yet, but that's because I pay my dues, like I pay my rent and everything else. So I mean, her character took a backseat, and this is what I was telling you. Like, I hope she stays, and I hope she gets better development down the line. If they don't keep Zachary Levi and Asher, I mean, if that sounds fucked up to say, then
keep Asher, I'd say.
I mean,
he's kind of aging out.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, unless they decide to make him like do both, because I mean, you notice Mary doesn't change either. You know what I mean? She stays herself.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe do that with him. I mean, I don't see why not. It's just depends how they decide to go about that. But yeah, like I said, they're all pretty much coasting. Like if you weren't Freddy, the Wizard, Shazam, or the sisters, they were basically the same. Like Darla, Pedro, and then the other two siblings. They were all kind of just coasting.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, not bad. I mean, they brought to the table what they needed to, I guess, what they could. Let's talk about CGI. It being the second movie in the Shazam franchise, having a bigger budget this time, coming off the heels of Black Adam and what was the other movie that was before that? It was just Black Adam, huh?
Before Black Adam, wasn't it Suicide Squad?
No, it was just Black Adam. Then Black Adam, and Black Adam CGI wasn't that great. What did you think about the CGI in this one?
I thought it had some of it looked cool, and yeah, some of it looked really wonky half the time. Like I think when they were working as a group, it looked really weird. Like
their flying positions.
The very first scene where they're working together on the bridge, when they're flying and everything, and the way they rescuing cars, like it looks like they tried to mesh in like green screen and live effects, but it didn't work out too well because every car they picked up was just, it looked CGI. It looked like they were picking up foam. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that didn't really work out. There was a bunch of good scenes though. Like the dragon looked cool. When he's fighting the dragon, that looked pretty cool. Like he crashes into the building, that looked dope. So I mean, there's just a few scenes where I think it was stretching it out too thin when everyone was using the powers and stuff, and then it looked alright when it was just Billy going against CGI monster or whatever.
Yeah, I see that. I think the CGI has improved a lot with this one. Seeing what we got in Black Adam to what we got to this one. I honestly, I think this one didn't like hiccup to the point where it drew me out of the movie. You know what I mean? Like there was a couple wonky scenes, and I think you're right. The bridge scene was wonky. I know that what was another one where they were working together? Not really working together, but when Helen Mirren's character was like being lifted up and moved around, and like when she was fighting, you could tell that she was CGI a couple times. Which I mean, we're not gonna make, I don't even know how old she is, Helen Mirren, fight these people. But I think they did a really good job with the CGI in this one. I think they really upped it. I think it was more consistently good than bad throughout the movie. So I mean, I really don't have too many complaints. There was a couple ones where you saw them and you were like, yeah, they're in a soundstage and like a green screen or something. Like you could tell in a couple scenes, but it wasn't to the point where like what was that recent one that we were talking about where you could tell like Quantumanium.
Quantumanium.
When they had like the group scenes or when they were like running around, you could tell it was on those TV screens, whatever they're called now. What are they called?
I don't know what they're called.
I forgot what they're called.
But it just, a lot of them just had their moments, and it was, and I think the scene where they are trying to like trap the sister looked very weird too. Like when she had, heavy spoilers, but when she had them like trapped and against the wall and stuff, the wiring looked really weird.
Yeah, that looked wonky.
And then I mean, I know you can't keep that shit real. I know you punching an old lady sounds ridiculous, but every time they were like hitting each other, it looked really bad, I think. Yeah,
you can't hit however old she is, Helen Mirren.
Yeah, but I mean, you could throw a stunt double in there and make it look decent.
She's like, ooh. She's like, gonna be dodging everything.
Like, just do a little better. And I don't know. I think the first ones, if I can recall it well, I think the first one probably had better looking CGI than this one.
What's that? It just reminded me of that parody movie where Kevin Hart's all painted white and he's supposed to be fighting, and then like it cuts out and he's like super fast, but he's an Asian dude, like the stunt double or whatever. Yeah. And then it goes back to Kevin Hart, and then when he's doing more stuff, it's like an Asian stunt double. Yeah. They should have done that. That would have take my money now.
Yeah, it just, I don't know, cause I mean, Black Adam had well, to me it did have some wonky CGI, but I think some of it still holds up a little better than this movie.
No, I think it had a worse CGI. No. I think Black Adam had a worse CGI than this one. I think this one holds up just a tad more. I really disliked the whole Gal Gadot scene, because that one looked really bad. I get the meshing together, the editing and all that stuff. I felt it looked really bad. in the theater. I was just watching. I was just like,
I found out he had to direct that scene from home.
oh yeah, I'd seen that little clip that he was zoomed because Gal Gadot was in Atlanta.
Yeah, she was doing something else.
Yeah, and he couldn't go because his passport or something like that wasn't working. So, yeah, no, he should have probably been there.
Yeah, I found out, for a little tidbit for you guys I didn't know, he filmed that ending scene with basically a computer from home.
Not to be that guy, but Zack Snyder finished that
He was
scene
able to do it in his backyard, like
with a box of scraps. Like, I mean, he was able to do not the Green Lantern scene, the Martha and Lois Lane scene, when they're talking across the table. He did that on Zoom, on FaceTime, and then I think the Barry scene when he's running in the street, he did that off of a video FaceTime.
Exactly, and then he did the date.
He filmed the Ben Affleck scene at his home.
Ben Affleck and Jared Leto weren't even in the same space.
Yeah,
he had Jared Leto record himself and then send it to him, and he edited it together. I'm just saying, he's doing it better than half the people at DC at the time. So.
Okay, but this is a Shazam review. But I'm just saying, like, he was able to make it work. But yeah. So that CGI was kind of like, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't. It wasn't the best, but it was. Zachary Levi said it best. It's a family movie, and if you go and you want to watch it, and you don't want to see all that, and you don't really want to use your brain and all that extra stuff, go watch it. It's a decent. You're not gonna get distracted by the CGI too much. Plot wise, this movie was very generic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Very generic.
You know what? Shit. You know what? I'm not gonna say that because I think they had something up until Lucy Liu just turned into another generic villain and just was like, I just want to kill everybody. But what was the motive in the beginning, though?
The motive at the beginning was to basically get the apple so they can take it back to their world and then recreate that realm.
Yeah, and then Lucy Liu just
decided to be like, nah, I'm gonna plant it here because humans suck.
Like, yeah, like fuck this place. Like, I didn't know about that one. That one was kind of, I like how they were kind of showing remorse and battling with that good and bad. When it came down to that villain plot line, Helen Mirren obviously being the one to pull for yeah, and Rachel Zegler pleading to Lucy Liu as well, and yeah, so Lucy Liu just wound up becoming the most generic person after that. Plot wise, when it comes to the rest of the Shazam family, like it didn't really matter at the end of the day. I mean, I wish I could tell you what it was, but at the end of the day, all I could tell you is probably Freddy's, but even then, it didn't pay off as well because at the very end of it, it was kind of like they didn't learn anything. So I kind of felt like the plot wasn't really utilized in this movie so much.
Well, no, not really. Because, I mean, it would have made, like, I've been saying this since the first one, and I know they try to do it a little bit here, but I think it only the movies only work if you have one person with powers. Leave that to Billy. You know what I mean? And, like, put the siblings aside. They did that for half of the film. I kind of hated every other scene involving them after the fact, but like they lose their powers and then it's just up to Billy, which is fine. Make him the one and only champion. I'm fine with that. Let the others learn that they're heroic in their own way and whatnot. That would have been a perfect ending and arc to them, right? Instead, by the end, you're right. By the end, they get their powers back. You're like, hooray, kind of, sort of. And you're just like, man, it doesn't make much sense to have them go through that whole arc just for them to get their powers back and be like one big superhero family again. It should have just been Billy at that point. Leave this, like, as much as I liked seeing Wonder Woman, because I was kind of like very happy about that. Her coming out and basically being the cop out for the staff being fixed and everyone getting their powers. It was kind of
Felt lazy.
Yeah, it felt very like what the fuck, bro?
I bet you they were in the writing room and they were like, you know how we can fix this? And fan service? Wonder Woman. But after 84, nobody really cared, I don't think.
Nah. Zack Snyder's Justice League, it made me care again.
Yeah. But, yeah, plot-wise, this movie really doesn't have one. I mean, it has one, but it doesn't matter in the end, if that makes sense. Like, and it doesn't just not matter because it's... The movie doesn't matter because it's not going to go anywhere. It just doesn't matter because at the end of the day, they get that cheap cop out and it's done with.
Well, to be fair, well, I guess it isn't being fair.
No, be fair.
Well, no, it's not. It's not being fair because
You're gonna be unfair now.
Because at the end of the day, it just doesn't matter regardless. You know, by the time Flash rolls around, it's like it never happened.
That's true. The Flash is gonna erase it all.
Exactly. So I mean,
so it doesn't even matter.
They kind of just didn't. The movie would have been like if it was fine on its own, and maybe it is in its own pocket universe or whatever. Which, by the way, a whole nother side thing, but I'm not a fan of how they keep mentioning these people. You know what I mean? Like, in the whole beginning where Billy's going through his little therapy session, Billy's going through his whole therapy session, and he's like, oh man, there's already Superman and Batman and the Flash who's faster than me or whatever. I'm just like, okay, yeah, thanks for name dropping all of them, but we never see them, like, ever. And when we do, it's headless. Bro, another side tangent.
They fought hard for him.
Another side tangent. I hated what they did with Wonder Woman in the beginning. I was so pissed when he's going through that dream sequence and he turns around and it's the fucking wizard on her head. I was like, what the fuck? That's not even a spoiler. Oh, okay, it's a spoiler, but y'all can find that with context online. Like,
that shit's literally on the internet.
It pissed me off so much. I was like, what? Why?
Okay, well, we'll dive into that deeper when, because that was kind of one of the things I wanted to talk about on our dislikes as well.
Okay, well, then save that for later. But,
yeah.
Man, like, it just, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because the Flash is going to come in and erase all of it anyway.
Yeah, so, plot-wise, didn't really have any...
It was just generic.
Yeah, very generic. But, I mean... I want to say, what about the cinematography, the camera work, and all that? Was it good in this movie? And I want to say no.
No, it was all very basic shots. A lot of quick cuts, if you can remember, because I can. A lot of it, like, I don't know what it is with DC movies sometimes, but they can't focus on a face for 1 minute, like. It's always bang, bang, boom. You know what I mean? Like the beginning scene when they're playing the video game. It cuts to the video game, and then it cuts to Billy, and then it cuts to the Zach. I think his name is Zach. And then like just focus on them for a second. You know what I mean? Or when he's talking to the sister, the older sister, and like it's cut and then cut and then cut. Like, why can't you just hold the conversation for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it was very generic stuff, and like, I don't know what it is, but there just wasn't much flair to half of the stuff. You know what I mean?
Nah, honestly, no. There wasn't. Honestly, I couldn't even, like, there was not one shot that I was like, that's fucking cool. Like that was neat or whatever. The shots that could have been neat or somewhat decent looked very CGI, which sucked as well. Like I said, I mean, if cinematography was like that one cop in the movie, I'd give it a W and a plus, but it's not like the cop in the movie, and it's very generic and basic, and I don't think it works. F. Sandberg, I feel like he probably should just do what he said and just probably go back to horror, because it seemed like he was doing really well there. I don't know why they do a lot of cuts and edits. I noticed that within the movie too. there was nothing special. I would have to say nothing special brought to the table.
Yeah, no. Which is really weird because you had a lot of good stuff coming from it. Like, they could have done some really good, innovative stuff when what's Rachel Zegler's character was doing her whole powers and moving the buildings around and shit. Like, they could have done some really cool like stuff, but they didn't. It was very basic stuff, and then even when they were flying toward her, it looked goofy as fuck. So nothing really to stand out from there. It was very like, why?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But at the very end of it, what I said, what I'm giving a W to is the cop. I think W cop in the movie who dumped a whole clip into this random monster. W cop.
The Minotaur.
Yeah, get that scene alone gave it points. I gotta say. But let's go ahead and start. Since we already got the 4 pillars, let's go ahead and start talking about what we did not like about the movie. And you mentioned one, which kind of ties into what I'm gonna say. So, yes, the dream sequence in itself was really, really bad. I feel like they took a sheet out of Whedon's book, kind of like what he did in Justice League, the theatrical cut, when the Flash like landed on Wonder Woman in an odd way and like got up and it was like, oh, whatever. It gave me those vibes when I seen her in the dream sequence and at the end of the movie. I was like, why are they trying to get, like, I get it, it's supposed to be kind of like a romantic thing, but if it's supposed to be more comedic, why are you guys, I don't know, it just gave me those vibes from that, if that made sense. And then when they turned around and showed him Homeboy's face, I was like, why did you do it? You said it in another episode, but it's like, you're right. The reason why they don't take this actor seriously, but like why they do that was my thing.
You see, and that's the thing, because not to be that guy, but the one that knew how to treat Wonder Woman by like a warrior was Zach, and in the first, and basically up until the first Wonder Woman, the second one not really, but they treated her like a warrior, not just like a piece of ass. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what it felt like with Whedon, and then, well, in this one, yeah, because I was like it was kind of nice and funny to call back and be like, okay, yeah, like, we're both gods and whatnot, but then, yeah, it feels very cheap to just lessen her down to basically a comedic, like, love thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's like, that's Wonder Woman, and you're supposed to want to take her seriously, and you just can't.
Yeah.
I would have said if they necessarily needed to, they could have had her in the seat and then had turned his face into what's his face, and then it probably would have been played off a little bit cooler. But her getting up, walking away, them having to get those shots down low and everything is just, in my opinion, it was just in poor taste.
Another headless character.
Yeah, I thought, well, not headless when she turned around, I'll tell you. And you know, that's where those rumors came from. So that was one of the scenes, or actually I would say both those scenes, because even the final scene with Gal Gadot was kind of Whedon vibes kind of thing too, but it was so poorly cut. I just blame it on the way they meshed the movie at the end there. So
yeah,
totally different reason, same kind of vibe. Another thing that I hate being put into a fucking Skittles commercial,
dude,
dead in the middle of the fucking movie.
Dude, that shit pissed me off too.
Why in the hell did all of a sudden, and the icing on the fucking cake when they're riding the fucking horse, taste the rainbow? Like, I get it, product placement.
No,
but
don't shove it in my face.
But who the hell said, let's do a whole skit of this?
When she was separating them in the bowl and stuff, that should have been enough. But no, they went through a whole commercial. They compared Skittles to the nectar of gods, and you're just like, what the fuck, man?
It's the closest thing.
That shit was so dumb. Ugh. This leaves a bad taste in my fucking head. Like,
And it was the
made me
only
so
thing
mad.
to kill the most vicious creatures, or not kill, but like tame the most vicious creatures, which were unicorns.
Unicorns.
Which I like that spin. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like the spin. Like the thing that we think is cute is actually really deadly. I
Yeah.
understand
That
that.
would have been fine.
Yeah, but having to put them in a Skittles commercial was crazy to me. I could not. I don't know what executives watched this and was like, this is exactly what we need in the movie. Like,
Skittles is gonna be very pleased.
write the check, Skittles. Write the check.
um,
That was another like
yeah.
really, really bad thing that pointed out to me. What is a couple of yours? So I don't give away all mines in the beginning.
Okay. Well, you pretty much gave me the two, which was that one and the Skittles one, and then the dream sequence. I hated so much. I was just like, man. Now you wonder why. You wonder why you get the shit that you do. Oh man, another bad scene. I think the bridge scene. The way they were acting toward the people they were saving, and the way Freddy was like, when he was like, oh, he was my sidekick and everything like that, and then he like holds on to the women. He's like he like gives them the wink or whatever, like, and then he flies away. I thought that shit was corny. I was like, my god.
The oh my god, I can't believe I saved you to this song. That was cringe.
Yeah, I was like,
That was cringe.
like we've seen that scene and we've heard that song 1,000 times. There's no way,
That was cringe to me. I could not. One major one that kind of, and we kind of touched up on her, was, to me, I know you said you liked all three of the Daughters of Atlases. I honestly thought there was a weakest link, and I thought it was Lucy Liu. I don't know if it's because how they just threw her whole character arc in the trash towards the end, and she was basically trying to work with what she basically had, but I thought her acting was cool, and I thought like the little whispering power and her being able to do it. Yeah, they wasted her, and I kind of felt like they wasted her the way that she wasted the one dude who jumped off the roof. I feel like they did after that scene. I think they did the exact same thing with her character. They were like, yeah, jump off.
like okay, so we're shitting on the movie kind of hard, but I told you one of the better scenes was in the beginning where they introduced the two sisters.
Yeah,
the whole museum sequence was dope, and after that the movie kind of tanks. But like, that was the scene that was like, okay, it cemented me in, and I'm like, I like these bad guys. But yeah, they waste her, and you never see that ability again. And you're just like, what the fuck? Why not? She got the staff now. You're telling me she's too good? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
you know what really grinded my gears was when they were in that bubble, right? They were in the dome, and she was over here trying to kill Helen Mirren's character with the dragon, and she was just blasting the wall. I love how he was able to walk away, give this whole monologue while she's blasting fireballs at Helen Mirren, and then right when he's ready to fight, there they meet in the baseball field, ready to go for the final battle. I was like, what the hell? She just forgot that homeboy was in this bubble with her and was just so blinded by anger she wanted to kill. And you knew that you couldn't get past the force field. I was like, dog, no.
This might as well happen.
I was just sitting there like, you know that meme of Homelander when he's just sitting in the theater.
Oh, yeah,
that was
his
me.
ears
I
are
was just like,
his ears are fucking ringing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't notice that, but now that you bring it up, it is a really bad red flag. You're just like, what the fuck? He says goodbye to his family. Oh, leads to another scene. I did not like his sacrifice was dope, I guess, but I didn't like how they went about it because we've kind of, like I told you, leaving the theater, we've seen that before. Superhero holding staff goes to kill the monster with it. Am I ringing any bells here?
God.
Like, we've seen it before. I'm not going to say anywhere or who's the blueprint, but we've seen it. And I didn't really enjoy that because after two movies, that shit felt cheap. Or after one movie, that shit felt cheap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I get what you mean. I they did do a lot of copying. Like I said, and I think DC has been doing this because even Black Adam was like this too, where like they just took all these things from other superhero movies and put it into this movie, and that was just something that was like blatantly obvious.
You know what I hated?
What?
More than anything out of this whole fucking movie.
Oh, it took you a while. It took you a while to think about it. So what'd you hate?
More than the Skittles.
No way. There's nothing worse than the Skittles.
Maybe on par with the Wonder Woman sequence in the head.
Okay.
I hated every time they were working on the name. Every time they mentioned that shit, I was like, shut the fuck up. It's clear that your name is Shazam. How are you not grasping that? Y'all all say it every single time. It doesn't matter if Darla's Shazam, if Billy Shazam, that's all your guys' name. Shazam. It doesn't change.
Yeah.
Like, I hated that every single time. Captain Every Power sidekick.
I hated that shit.
Just like, shut the fuck up.
I hated when he kept saying that. Captain Every Power. I was like, that is so... I was like... They couldn't have been a little bit more creative than that. And that... It doesn't fit their age. That's the problem. Like, they made them act like they were still these little kids in the first movie, and they didn't act their age. That shit didn't seem like they were acting their age at all. I don't know. That shit was bad. But I think the final icing on the cake for this movie, at least for me, is that when I was sitting there watching it, I was like, I seen all this in the trailer. I think every major scene was put into that trailer. I kid you not. The beginning scene with besides maybe the museum scene in the beginning, I don't think they put anything like that in the trailer. But everything else, the shifting of the places. You know, when Freddy was gonna get betrayed by Rachel Zegler, I already knew it was coming because they put out a clip. They put out a clip about it.
Oh yeah.
The emotional scene. They put out a clip that made it seem like they were alluding to it. So when the theater, I was like, yeah, she's gonna be evil already.
Oh.
Like, as soon as I seen her, I was like, she's gonna be evil. Okay. And then the emotional scene with Angel Asher and his foster parents, I was like, I seen the clip. It doesn't even hit as hard anymore because we seen the clip. Wonder Woman didn't hit as hard because we seen her in the trailers already. It's like all the payoffs weren't paying off for me. Maybe for people who weren't really, I mean, if you haven't seen Shazam and haven't really been following anything that's been happening, you might go in and like it. I mean, I didn't say the score in the beginning, but Rotten Tomatoes has a 51% for critics, but audience score is at 87. So a good chunk of people that I'm assuming don't have a bad taste in their mouth about this movie have like maybe enjoyed something out of it. But for the most part, the trailers gave everything away for me, and it wasn't really that much of a surprise. And it just sucks because they put all that in trailers and clips.
This is what I'm saying, man. It was a marketing problem. They keep doing this shit where they don't cut their trailers correctly and they show all of their hand. They don't know how to keep that shit suspenseful. As soon as they started releasing Wonder Woman, literally a week before the release, it was a problem.
I thought they were gonna wait until after.
I was like, my God, man, it was a big problem.
I'm telling you, an intern should have been fired, bro.
And that's the shit with DC. I know it's a Shazam thing, but this is all part of the problem right now. Like, they want fans to be invested, so they keep bringing out people that they know we want to see, but they're not gonna keep them around, James Gunn. But you know, it's a problem for sure. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is a problem. It just sucks that this might be the last time we see this iteration of this.
And I don't want to remember her headless. Because
there was a lot of good when it came to the cast. I feel like the casting was pretty perfect. I liked the superhero counterparts and I liked their kid versions of them. So I enjoyed some of this movie. Like I said, it wasn't 100% the best in my opinion. A lot of things fell flat, but when it was good, it was pretty decent. At the end of it all, just forgettable.
Yeah. Actually, thinking about it now, there is one cool scene I can remember with the camera work that we were talking about. just so we don't end off on a bad note.
Okay.
The museum scene had a good scene.
Yeah, the museum was good.
No, not just that, but the whole scene where, spoilers for the beginning, but like when she's blowing the smoke and the camera like in one single shot smooths in the smoke, and then it comes out and then it shows everyone is like statues. That was clean. That was the only scene I can recall.
Yeah, and I gotta say the museum scene was the hardest scene in the movie
for sure, and like gave it away in the beginning, and you're just like, wow. And then that was the only thing that got me kind of hyped because I was like,
it's at the bar. It's at the bar.
Yeah, and like we had a scene like that in the first one, which was the boardroom scene, and you're just like, ooh, okay. So he set the tone immediately. I expect them to be menaces. Only one of them was a menace, and they wasted her.
Yeah,
like, my God.
It is what it is. With Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods, Josh, what is your rating from 1 to 10?
I'm not done.
Oh, what? There's more.
You know what I thought was really weird?
Okay.
The Wizard. I know he probably had a contract to be in the second one. I thought he died in the first one. I thought he was dead.
We all did.
I don't know why he came back. I thought he was dead.
To cash in that check.
It's still, he should have been like, no, because I would have made no sense. He dies. He literally. If we watch the first one right now, I remember the scene where he's like, my job here is done, and then he kind of vanishes like Obi-Wan. Like, yeah, like he's dead.
I get the Sisters of Atlas brought him there or whatever just so they can get the staff back together, but it just seemed, like I said, another cheap way out. I mean, there could have been a different way. If they were gonna put Wonder Woman in there, imagine if she was prominently used and she was the reason why they put the staff back together.
Exactly.
That it could have made for better writing and for better things, but
this movie could have had 1,000 ways to do that whole thing, and they just were like, "Nah, let's bring back the Wizard."
Yeah, I would say that the bringing back the Wizard was kind of not necessary. Though I do enjoy him because I think he's actually funny, and you know he can play that serious role when he needs to, and add that sprinkle of funny. So I enjoyed seeing him. I really didn't have a lot of like grief against it, but I just don't like what they did with the Wonder Woman scene. I think that was too far.
Can we rip on the post-credit scenes?
Oh, the post-credit scenes. I forgot about that. So
the first one.
Okay, the first one.
Starting with the first one.
Okay, the first one. All right. Well, I don't want to do this though. I don't want to do this because you're just gonna rip it into it because of Harcourt and James Gunn.
Well, no, there's more than that.
Okay, then I'm gonna let you go first.
I hated. Okay, other than the obvious things that we've talked about before, we've talked about it. We've talked about in other episodes. If you want to check that out, we mentioned Harcourt, whatever. I'm gonna do my best to avoid that, as much as I hate seeing their fucking guts. But like, when Billy is like talking to them, and he's like, "Let me give you different names," right? They name drop. I don't know if you can remember, but they name drop. Shit.
You can't remember either.
The Authority. I don't know if you remember that. They name dropped them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's probably to get people hyped for when that movie comes out. And then they go, he says something with Justice, and then he says the Avengers.
Yeah.
The Avengers something. And I was like,
Avengers Society.
I was like, my God, man, why do you feel the need to just make that joke? It works somewhere in the middle of the movie where the OG, I told you, it's the OG Billy Batson. He calls him Captain Marvel. That was kind of a callback. You know what I mean? But to just name drop it like that and then be like, ooh, that sounds dope. Like that, like it felt very Marvel to me.
Yeah, very, very clearly it seemed like James Gunn had a hand in that scene. Even though he denies it, it is what it is. Yeah, I didn't like that. And then I especially like I'm not gonna even rip into it. I'm just gonna say the little things. I don't like Steve McGee. I don't like his character. What's his name in the show or whatever? Claude? No.
Oh, Peacemaker? You expect me to know that? No, I don't know.
You don't know his name?
No.
Oh, you know Harcourt's name.
Yeah, but that's because she's kind of everywhere.
Because she's James Gunn's wife?
No, because she's everywhere.
And you know his life?
Because she was everywhere, and I don't know. He's a throwaway character to me. I didn't remember his name in Suicide Squad. I don't remember it in Peacemaker. I don't remember it now. I'm never going to know.
Yeah, well, he them coming in and being the people to recruit kind of, I really don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy everybody recruiting for Waller's team and it not being Waller herself. So that kind of sucked. I know that we were told that it was supposed to be other characters from the Justice Society, but his name is Akamos in the show. I just don't like them being thrown in there. And it was just, I mean, Wonder Woman was already there. Why didn't she just recruit him into the Justice League? Why not just be like, you know what? You have a lot of heart, kid. I think you should come to the Justice League with us. I think you'd be a good warrior or something. You know what I mean? Why didn't they do that? Why would they choose hardcore and go to the Justice Society? And I get it. Probably The Rock or whatever. Maybe if this review came out before we knew everything that we knew, we would have probably had more questions. We probably can figure out why. But it sucks because there's so many in this movie. There's so many. The opportunity is right there, and they just go, nope. Like, why?
They just sidestep it.
Yeah, they're just like, I don't think I'm gonna do that.
Okay. Now the second one. This was my problem with the first one. Or this is what they should have made the first one. I didn't like. Okay, it was nice to see Dr. Sivana, that's his name, and Mr. Mind.
Yeah.
It was nice seeing them, but I was like, this is where they've been? You're telling me... I understand the caterpillar. It was a nice joke. But you're telling me homie has just spent the last couple of years traveling slowly as a caterpillar would so he can plan while you had him running in a cell? They should have been more. I think they should have been the bad guys here. Don't save them for a third film that we're never going to see.
If they teed him up, because they teed him up in the Shazam post-credit scene in the first one. If they teed him up, I thought he was going to be for this one. Exactly. When I seen the Daughters of Atlas, I was like, clearly something, there's a mix-up.
Exactly.
You know, I thought they were going to do it, and it just makes it more especially stupid because you know that the caterpillar can, like, control the minds of people. So he could have easily controlled somebody's mind and was like, pick me up and let's go do this or whatever, or go do this for me or something. And it just, like I said, opportunity,
and they spent a good chunk of the first one low-key
hinting at him.
Hinting at Mr. Mind. And you're just like, there's a whole scene where you see him trapped in the caterpillar thing. And you're like, oh, he's in an enclosure. We know who that is. Like, you know. And then we see him in a cutscene. We see him in a cutscene, and we'll never see a third film.
It was funny, though.
It was funny.
I won't lie. It was funny. And it was a cute little funny
like,
scene.
now tell me your plan. He's like, but wait, there's one more thing. And then he slithers away. Like that, yeah, I'm not denying it wasn't funny. It's just a waste.
It is a waste, and it sucks. But it was funny. If you guys, you'll get a chuckle out of it 100%. But once you think about the context and everything else, then, yeah, you're kind of just like, what, why? Why was it necessary?
Basically.
They could have easily used that joke in the beginning of the movie if they needed to. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been something different.
It's just a waste. And, like, they should have been the villains in this one.
Should have, could have, would
We're
have.
never gonna see him again because real DC fans, quote unquote, aren't showing up to see Shazam.
Yeah, I'm not watching that shit twice.
Even though this is kind of what they wanted.
I'll wait for streaming.
But anyway, before I continue.
Yeah. So from 1 to 10, what do you give this movie? What's your rating? And yeah.
Oh man, everything good and bad about it. Even though I think there's probably more. It's just average to me. It feels very average. Even with everything wrong with it. You know what I mean? And then, are we including outside context?
Like outside influence to everything that happened?
Like,
no, based on the movie itself.
Okay.
Of a plot to characterization.
I mean, if the director didn't give a fuck about the movie. Like, okay.
Just plot, everything that we put into
the
this
plot
conversation.
Was average. The acting definitely carries it. I definitely
for some scenes.
For some scenes. I give it like a 6. 6 out of 10. Average film. If I decide to rerun a DCU watch list, I'll watch it. But I mean, I'll have probably more fun watching that than what my list looks like. But yeah, a 6.
Yeah, I give it a 5. I give it a 5. It's not getting any higher than a 5 because I feel like that's saying that it's mid, but you could have done better, because for all the couple of things that it did right, it just slapped you in the face with a joke or something dumb. And though I like fun films and fun superhero films, you need to know how to mix it in there. And unfortunately, David F. Sandberg, I'm sorry, you did it right the first time. It just seemed like he didn't make any corrections the second time.
Basically,
I like the first Shazam. I think I would rate that one higher than this one, but it's just the way that this one came out, it just didn't come out as quality. And it's sad to say. Like I said it before, I'll say it again. It just seems like DC's dying, and this just shows you that this is another property or a product that has now bit the dust in the most horrendous way, as I might add.
Yeah. Anyway, go see The Flash.
Oh, God.
For real.
Go wait, John Wick 4.
For real. Yeah, no, it's definitely a sad note to end on. And, like, I wanted to be enthusiastic going in. Like, not as enthusiastic as I was when I went to see, or when I wanted to see Black Adam. You know what I mean? Because I was very hyped for that film. This one just... Even when they announced it way back when, I was just like, oh, cool. And then, it just, the hype wasn't there for this movie for some reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I said, who asked for the first Shazam? Nobody.
No one.
But it came out decent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't rewatch it on a regular, but I mean, it's a decent watch if you ever want to watch it.
I can remember scenes from it.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Yeah. It was a good first iteration, and I loved in my opinion, one of the saddest freaking son and mother talks in any comic book movie. Like, that shit, they gave us a hard hitting moment in the first one, and that shit hurt. This one, it didn't give you anything like that. And the one hard hitting moment that they wanted to give you, ruined by the trailers and completely dismissed by Zachary Levi once he turns into Shazam. So it just sucks. For everything that I tried to do right, it just didn't do, and I give it a 5. But I still say go give it a watch. If you guys want to give it a watch, I think it's a good, decent watch. I'd say take the family if you want. I think they can use the money for the tickets. It is a family movie. It's not a bad watch. It's good. It's decent.
It's a decent watch.
If honestly, I don't feel like I'm giving it enough confidence. So my honest answer: wait for streaming. That's me being real. I'm gonna be nice and say go watch it in the theaters. I think it would be nice, but my honest answer would just tell you guys to wait for streaming. It's coming out April 18th, HBO Max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got nothing to say to that. If I could tell you to steer clear, I'll tell you to do that and watch something worth it. You know what I mean? But yeah, check it out.
I honestly don't think it's bad for a one watcher.
Yeah,
I think one watch on streaming and you guys would be satisfied. Yeah. I mean, if you guys are real DC fans and you guys want to keep watching it, well, there you go. Hopefully it boosts up the numbers on streaming.
Yeah. But I suppose that's it then.
Yeah.
I don't want to rip.
That's
if I continue.
I just feel, I'm feeling awkward, and I feel like we're just waiting to just be like, give me a piece of meat so I can start tearing into it.
Dude, yeah, no, because if I continue, I'm doing more than
very good. We're very good. We're doing more than just that. We're going for Zachary Levi's neck personally.
You're like, man.
But with that being said, if there's anything that you guys, any movies you guys want us to review, anything that we should have spoken about, what we did not on this episode or any episodes, and you guys want to hear our thoughts on it, go ahead and hit us up. Or if you guys want to hear us drag Zachary Levi in a different episode, let us know as well. Josh, let them know where they can tell us, bro.
If you want to hear us, if you want us to drag Zachary Levi and Shazam 2, let us know by following our Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at FIlmBros Podcast. If you want to listen to our other episodes on the go with Spotify and Apple Podcast at FilmBros Podcast. If you want to support us in a big way, Zippy Stream at the FilmBros Podcast. You get a full catalog. All it takes is a name and email. With that email, you can hit us up, and you get updates personally of when we drop new episodes. So why wouldn't you want to be the first to listen? And then go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube while you're at it, at FilmBros Podcast.
Yes. Like, subscribe, follow that YouTube, hit the notification bell, and go watch Shazam 2. We'll talk to you
Watch
guys.
the Flash. No,
We'll talk to you guys on the
talk
next
to you
one.
guys later.